On a farm, as everywhere in life, there is a season for all things. Winter really drives that truth home. There's a time to plant, a time to harvest, and a time, like now, when neither can be done. And so we rest. But not for long. In fact, the growing season is already stirring to life, but you have to know where to look to see it. Come with me into our small orchard, and I'll show you one of the first tasks we have to complete in a growing year. Here, from mid-January until late February, is the time to prune our trees. When we moved into this farm, we were astounded to discover that there wasn't a single fruiting tree anywhere on the property. Imagine a New England farmhouse without even one apple tree. We spent our first year here fixing that. We put in walnut trees, a cherry tree, peach trees hardy enough to withstand our winters and mercurial springtimes, and, of course, apples. Last summer was our 6th one here, and finally, we started to see the literal fruit of our work. Cherries were in such abundance that we made pies and jams, and the children and birds could eat their fill from the tree. The peaches produced so much that their limbs groaned under the weight and had to be shored up with thick straps. Even the walnuts gave us 1 or 2 nuts, despite the rainy summer we had. But the apple trees, oh, you apple trees, how you break my heart. Deer damage, caterpillar damage, fire blight, scab. You have demanded far more attention than I have been able to give you. But maybe that's your plan. You caused so much trouble that the four apples that you gifted us last year were truly celebrated. This year, I will give you the attention you demand. And that starts with pruning. Pruning the tree needs to take place during mid to late winter, when any diseases or fungi that may infect the wound and damage the tree are firmly sleeping under snow and ice. I can't bring myself to do the pruning. Irrationally, I feel like I'm hurting the trees, even though that I know it's necessary for the long-term health of the orchard. Ken deals with the pruning. I deal with planning the wassailing. Wassailing is an ancient English tradition, which traditionally takes place in January 17th, the old 12th night under the Julian calendar. The people of the villages would go out to their beloved orchards and give thanks for the previous year's bounty while laying the foundations for an even better harvest to come. The oldest tree in the orchard, called the apple tree man, was given place of honor. It received the majority of the people's attention and gratitude, and toast, soaked in cider, was hung in its branches. Then the people started yelling, banging pots and pans together, and making as much noise as possible in order to both drive away evil spirits and to wake the trees. They'd then sing songs and pour out more cider at the roots of the apple tree man and enjoy each other's company on a cold winter's night. There is so much that is beautiful and true in this tradition that it seems foolish to let it slip away. Pruning your trees now, in the dead of January, is best practice, and your oldest and most venerable tree always deserves a little extra attention. Putting toast in the apple branches is a wonderful way to feed the neighboring birds, and a thriving ecosystem is good for all living things. Feeding the soil that feeds you, whether through compost, manure, or good cider poured out at the roots, well, that's just land stewardship at its basic and best. As for yelling to wake the trees, anyone familiar with The Lord of the Rings knows how slowly trees do anything. So attempts to rouse them in time to put out spring buds really need to start in the dark and cold of winter. In southern England, where wassailing continues in more or less an unbroken line since the Middle Ages, wassailing the orchard would end with everyone singing a song of gratitude for God's abundance. Here's to thee, old apple tree, whence thou mayest bud, and whence thou mayest blow, and whence thou mayest bear apples enow, hats full, caps full, bushel sacks full, and my pockets full, too. Huzzah! Here is to a season of rest, followed by a season of growth and abundance. Huzzah!